Ash Ketchum has a lot of Pokemon, some good, some not so much. I'm looking at you, Torkoal. Everyone knows his strong Pokemon since those tend to be the popular ones. Pikachu, Greninja, Pignite. Wait, how'd that get in here? In today's video, I want to take a look at the worst Pokemon of Ash Ketchum by type. There are 18 types in Pokemon, and that means we're basically going to be deciding his 18 worst Pokemon. That sounds like too much yapping just for me, so I went ahead and bothered my friend Gooey to do this collab with me.
Hello, I'm Gooey, and LUAPER, thanks for inviting me on a video where we're gonna clown on people's favorite Pokemon. I feel like that's definitely one of my strong suits in this niche, and I'm glad you addressed Torkoal being trash right off the bat, cause like, how does anyone like that Pokemon? But yeah, I hope you can understand and respect our choices from a logical point of view. Thank you again, LUAPER. He said he's actually paying me extra.
And no, I'm not gonna be paying you any Pokédollars, sorry. For all of 2025, I'll be posting one collab with a different Pokemon YouTuber once per month, and if you want to see what I've made so far, you can check out my LUAPER and Friends playlist. I think it's only fair to rank the Pokemon that he currently has, so Pokemon in training or release aren't counted unless he has access to them more often. But without further ado, let's take a look at each type and see which Pokemon sucks the most. Let's cover the types alphabetically, so the first one is Bug. Ash literally only has 2 Bug Pokemon now, so that leaves us to choose between Heracross and Leavanny. Both of these Pokemon are really good in their own way, but let's be honest, Heracross is the stronger one of these two. Between it being Ash's strongest Johto Pokemon, although that doesn't really mean much, it helped against Nando and against Tobias. Heracross is that dude, so that makes Leavanny Ash's worst Bug Pokemon. Unless you count Beedrill, but if you do, you're probably dumb. Or Gooey. Really, what's the difference?
Hey, I will not be tolerating that disrespect here, LUAPER. But anyways, for the dark types, we have a few options, all being solid. The first being Crocodile, one of my personal favorite Ashmons, so already I'm leaning towards not putting him here. Secondly, his Unova counterpart, Scraggy. Then lastly, we have Greninja and Incineroar. But we're not counting Greninja because he's technically still released, not that I would anyway. But unfortunately, this one isn't even close. Scraggy, you are nothing compared to these chads, so you take this W, or L in this case.
Ash didn't get a Dragon type until the Sinnoh region when he captured Gible, and after that, well, he became somewhat of a Dragon Master. And since Dragon type is such a strong type, it's fitting that all of his dragons are pretty strong in their own right. Well, except for one, and that'd have to be Gible. Don't get me wrong, I think that the reason it's weak is that it didn't get much development outside of mastering how to use Draco Meteor, and then he was shelved, but he's still the weakest one. One thing I know Gible could definitely do is hit the subscribe button with his Draco Meteor. 95% of you aren't subscribed, and I'm so close to hitting 50k. If you want to help your boy out and enjoy daily Pokemon content, feel free to show Gible how it's done and hit the subscribe button.
I knew we were gonna make some people mad today because Pikachu is Ash's worst electric type by far. Sorry if you liked Ash's Pikachu, he just doesn't compete against Ash's other non-existent electric type Pokemon.
Electric isn't the only one with misrepresentation, as Ash only has one fairy type that he officially caught. Can you guess who it is? I'll give you a hint. This one is a Pokemon that he caught in the original series, but we didn't even see him actually catch it. Did you get it? Not yet? Well, one more hint is that it became his stepfather. That's right, his only and therefore worst fairy type is Mr. Mime.
We on to the fighting, guys, and there are quite a bit of them this time around. We got Heracross, Infernape, Pignite, Scraggy, Hawlucha, Lucario, and Sirfetch'd. Although it is true we are not counting released Pokemon, LUAPER said I can in fact include Primeape here for some reason. I don't know why though, it seems a little odd LUAPER allows Primeape here because it just so happens to be the worst Mon out of the bunch. Because Pignite was one of the best battlers on Ash's Unova team, and Scraggy, while not being super strong, had a funny personality. Primeape, while strong, just didn't do much since Ash gave him away to the salty scammer guy. So yeah, sorry Primeape, you just keep taking L's by me, LUAPER, and the writers.
Ash could literally be a Fire-type Elite Four member, even better than Flint when it comes to sticking to his type. He's got plenty of Fire-type Pokemon from just about each generation. I know the cliche answer is to say that it's Torkoal, but you know what, I'm gonna give it credit. It did go against a Registeel and put up a good fight, and sure it has a type advantage, but it's Torkoal and Registeel is a legendary Pokemon. It even tried, albeit barely, against Darkrai. Quillava on the other hand was fine and dandy in some Johto gym battles, but besides that, it was mid at best.
Flying, Ash's most overly caught type. I mean, this is where we see the likes of Charizard, Staraptor, Shiny Noctowl, Talonflame, Hawlucha, Gliscor, Swellow, and even Lord Rowlet himself. But among the greats, there lies an outlier who is garbage with some trash mixed somewhere in there as well, and way out on the horizon may be someone who used to be named after a certain city in a certain region who may or may not agree with my choice here, but I'm going with Noivern. The reason being, it sucked a lot more than people give it credit for. Kalos League, everyone points their fingers at Gudra for flopping, which, okay, sure, statistically yes. However, Noivern was pooping the bed the whole time. Plus, it was introduced late into the series, making us see it only like 3 times in battle. I mean, it's cool design, better than Unpheasant, but I'm not gonna judge purely off of design.
Ghost is another one that Ash only owns one of, so it has to be our boy Gengar. It's a shame because Gengar is such a strong Pokemon, arguably one of his strongest due to its performance in the Masters 8, but since it has no competition, he's automatically the worst to put on this list. Had Ash had any other, he would likely be on this list. If Ash were to fully evolve his Primeape and Rowlet, then he would actually have 2 more Ghost types, but he doesn't, so Gengar, you take the L.
Grassy guys, they're all pretty nice. LUAPER, show them on screen so they can see. Obviously Sceptile, my man, he's here. We got Bulbasaur, my favorite starter Snivy. But hold up, you see that? Look a little closer. Nope, not Bayleaf, she valid, she took down a Houndoom as a grass type. Nah, I'm looking at you, Torterra. You, my friend, should have never left the first stage. As a Turtwig, you are putting Paul in his place. As a Torterra, you are falling flat on your face. Literally the biggest disgrace. And if I don't stop, I'm about to end this place. You can buy my latest album called Tortrash on my channel, link in the description.
Ash owns himself a full team of 6 when it comes to the ground type, and besides Crocodile and Gliscor, they aren't a very strong group of 6. Gible struggled to do anything besides nuking Don's Piplup. Donphan liked to spin around the block, but he got shafted by only really being a thing in the counter battle frontier. Torterra was decent until it became Torterra, and then it got weighed down by the ground type. And then there's Palpitoad, who did, things. Out of this group, the one that stands on a league of its own due to how weak it is would have to be Palpitoad.
Ice, I would say they're all pretty cool, but we only have one option, that being Glalie, cause LUAPER said no release Pokemon, otherwise I would have gone with Lapras here. But yeah, sorry Glalie, you're the only option.
Ash actually owns quite a few normal type Pokemon, but that's oddly pretty normal. His normal Pokemon are 2 he caught in the original series, and then 5 regional birds in a row. Most of his regional birds are very strong, and Snorlax is arguably one of his strongest Pokemon period, so that leaves my contenders for this type as Tauros, Noctowl, and Unpheasant. Tauros being the weaker of the bunch just because of its limited number of battles, but it always showed up when it mattered. Noctowl was an MVP during Johto and was also pretty useful against Conway. And Unpheasant is definitely an overhated Pokemon as most of its Unova team, but I think Unpheasant still gets the award for being the worst normal type Pokemon.
Poison, ooh, this is a very hard one. I can't choose Bulbasaur because he's one of Ash's best starters. I can't choose Muck since he is literally a poison glop of goop. And I can't choose Naganadel because it's another amazing mon from Alola. But for the sake of this video, I think I'll have to choose, I guess it's gonna be Bulbasaur, because while I love him, he doesn't really resemble a poison type for me. I don't know, you would think he's just grass, and then later he'd evolve into a poison type, but yeah, for that reason, Bulbasaur has gotta be the worst.
Can you guess how many Psychic Pokemon that Ash owns? Go on, I'll give you 5 seconds. Well, yep, he only has 1, and that's Mr. Mime again. So Mr. Mime not only gets the award for being the worst fairy type, but also the worst psychic type too. So he's the only Pokemon on this list to be featured twice. So that's a feat of its own.
Brock's favorite type, first off is Bulldor. Kind of underrated of a Pokemon, but also like it didn't do very much and it never fully evolved. The only other rock type is super cool Dustform Lycanroc, which is a special form unique only to Ash, cause of course it is, which means Bulldor here is the worst for sure.
Ash only has 2 Steel-type Pokemon to choose from, and they're both quite strong, but come on, is it even a fair comparison? Lucario literally has that dog in him, and he can Mega Evolve and compete in the Master League competition. They basically made Lucario Ash's ace in Pokemon journeys besides Pikachu, and he's easily in the top 10 list of all of Ash's Pokemon in terms of strength. I'm sorry Melmetal, but you are the worst Steel-type Pokemon owned by Ash.
For whatever reason, other than Greninja, all of Ash's water-type Pokemon are either on the first or second stage, but even so, most of his water types are very fun and memorable. First off, Squirtle, Totodile, and Oshawott are all amazing, so I can't put them here. Kingler, while not his most iconic Pokemon, was actually a beast in battle. Weasel, while I think this Pokemon is a bit overrated, still had a great personality, so that leaves us with Corphish or Palpitoad, the battle of the mids. While Corphish did show up more times in the anime, I just thought it was kind of boring to watch. On the other hand, Palpitoad was actually quite strong, and I meme about this Pokemon being stupidly broken to those who haven't watched Unova, so I already have a bias from my man Palpitoad. But yeah, sorry to the 5 Corphish fans, I've let y'all down with this one.
Take a good look at this fine group of 17 Pokemon that make up the worst of their respective type of Ash Ketchum. People usually like thinking about the strongest and most powerful Pokemon of Ash Ketchum, but not us, we're negative. A big thank you to Gui for helping me out with this video and for joining me today. So go give this channel some love if you enjoy Pokemon content and be on the lookout for a video that I'll be featured on very soon.
Yes, subscribe to LUAPER first, and if you're already subscribed, then go ahead and subscribe to the Gui448 channel as well to see more fun, unique opinions. And thank you again, LUAPER. Always a pleasure to make an appearance here, and I'll catch y'all later, everyone.
I would like to know your list of weakest Ash Pokemon. If you disagree with us or in any type, let me know in the comments below. But with that being said, I gotta go look at the positives in life, and it's been your boy LUAPER, and I'm out. Peace.